Hi, I'm Phil Constantine. On this episode of Travels with Phil, we're going to Camp Hale and the Continental Divide National Monument in central Colorado. This is an area high in the upper parts of the Rocky Mountains, not too far from Mount Elbert, which is the highest spot in the 48 contiguous states, and right in the area where there are multiple what they call the 14ers. These are the peaks that are above 14,000 feet, which you will find in central Colorado. It is right in the middle of multiple skiing areas, Breckenridge, Vail, Aspen, lots and lots of different spots out there. And in fact, I have more on this in a bit, but it owes a lot of its Camp Hale is the generating point or the origin for a lot of the folks who got training that eventually led to them establishing all of these ski resorts. So let's take a look around with a video I shot while I was there in the area. Travels with Phil continues in the Pando Valley north of Leadville. I don't know, nothing about the phrase. There's pretty as a picture comes to mind more than quaking aspens, the trees all shaking, coming glistening sunlight. Well, maybe if you see an entire hillside. Very pretty. I'd like to see how big the hillside is. There you go, car going by. Just all the leaves are shaking. No reds, a little bit of orange over here. It's a very pretty valley out here. They actually used this as a training camp in World War II, this general area out here, for winter training for the troops who were going into Italy, World War II. Might be able to read some of that. I'll have pictures, but unfortunately, due to all the stark weather conditions out here, as you can see by the twinkle here from the next one, these have seen a lot of cold weather, a lot of snow, a lot of ice, and unfortunately, the coverage don't last very long out here. But right out there in the distance, you can see some of the structures left over from the old camps. Got whole bunch of white cars parked over there doing something, don't know what. So just another point of interest out there. Alrighty. Travels with Phil continues.
President Theodore Roosevelt first used the Antiquities Act to designate a national monument. He essentially invented the national parks. Since then, presidents of both parties have used the Antiquities Act to preserve America's natural treasures, from the Grand Canyon to the Statue of Liberty, to Colorado's canyons of the ancients. Today, the authorities under the Antiquities Act, I'm establishing Camp Hale Continental Divide National Monument today. When you think about the national beauty of Colorado and the history of our nation, you find it here. More than 50,000 acres, including the 10-mile range, soaring peaks and steep canyons, black bears, bald eagles, moose, mountain lions, waterfalls, pristine rivers, alpine lakes, a scent of wildflowers at the right time of the year, and a stunning backdrop of ski slopes and iconic trails. These treasured lands tell the story of America.
Camp Hale National Historic Site. We can see a picture of an interpretive sign with Camp Hale in the background. Camp Hale is the center of mountain and winter warfare training developed by the United States Army during World War II. The camp was located here because of the site's natural features and ready access. When the war broke out, this valley was already served by both the Federal Highway and the Denver and Rio Grande Western Railroad. Moreover, the large open valley had adequate room for the camp, including more than 1,000 buildings and structures, as well as parade grounds, weapon ranges, and other spaces needed by the Army. There's a self-guided tour with 10 stops that take you in a loop around Camp Hale. Each stop has an interpretive sign with a history of that area. There is a large interpretive center just off Highway 24 marked by stone pillars at the main entrance to Camp Hale, and this is about 17 miles south of the intersection of Interstate 70 and Highway 24 just north of Leadville. The peaks and valleys within this monument forge the elite soldiers of the famed 10th Mountain Division, the Army's first and only mountain infantry division. The 10th Mountain Division helped free Europe from the grip of Nazi control in World War II. At its height, Camp Hale sprawled across nearly 1,500 acres and contained 1,000 buildings, including 245 barracks that could house more than 15,000 soldiers, as well as parade grounds, recreational areas. Camp Hale was built in 1942 as a training site for the famed U.S. Army soldiers in the 10th Mountain Division. Here we have a photo here, courtesy of the Colorado Snow Sports Museum and Hall of Fame. Francis Lovett trained as part of the 10th Mountain Division. He poses in Denver in 1944 during a break from training. And a photo courtesy of the 10th Mountain Division Resource Center at the Denver Public Library.
Today, as Commander-in-Chief, it's a true honor to be joined by two of the few surviving veterans of the original 10th Mountain Division. Francis Lovett. Francis, where's Francis? He's going to come up later. Francis, as my mother would say, God love you, man. God love you. 100 years young. Enlisted in the Army at age 20, stationed at Camp Hale, fought overseas, earned 2 Bronze Stars, and among many other medals, a war hero who came home to become a teacher and a principal. Thank you, Francis, for your service to our country and all you've done to get this monument designated. Thank you. He's also joined by another 10th Mountain Division man, a guy named Robert Scheuer, 99 years young, trained at this camp. Served his country before joining his dad's business just a few years ago. He came back to Colorado to be with his family. Robert, thank you for your service. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
And we'd go from one place to another, cross country, and like we went from Camp Hale, went all the way through to Aspen, Colorado, on a straight line. We took whatever was in the way and went cross country that way. And when we get to the steep places, we'd have to take our skis off and climb. It was quite an operation, but we went to Italy. And our training paid off there a lot.
The 10th Mountain Division soldiers trained in mountain warfare techniques, including mountain climbing, alpine and Nordic skiing, cold weather survival, as well as various weapons and ordnance systems. The 10th Mountain Division deployed 3 Army regiments during World War II, including the Battle of Riva Ridge in the northern Italian Apennine Mountains, which involved a daring assault that required soldiers to scale a 1,500-foot cliff during the dark of night and defeat 5 elite German divisions in the final months of the war.
And I'm also honored to be joined by several tribal leaders here, because this is your progeny, this magnificent land. You've been great stewards of these sacred lands. For thousands of years, tribal nations have been stewards of this sacred land, hunting game, foraging for medicinal plants, and maintaining a deep spiritual bond with the land itself. But by the 1800s, mining activity and federal government drove out indigenous tribes from their homes. But those tribes continue to use these sacred lands. Last year, I issued a historic proclamation officially designating Indigenous Peoples Day to honor the contributions of Native Americans to our society and acknowledge the history of violence committed against them. 2 days ago, we observed that day in this nation. Today, I'll be signing a proclamation to preserve these sacred tribal grounds as a national monument.
For thousands of years, the Ute people traveled to the Pondo Valley, where winter snows melted as part of annual migration circuit to hunt game and collect medicinal plants. There are 3 primary Ute tribes in this area of Colorado and Utah, and this area was part of their ancestral homelands. They're comprised of the Umpqua Band of Ute tribe, also the Southern Ute tribe, and the Ute Mountain tribe. While 2 of the Ute tribes did participate somewhat in the process of making this designation occur, one of the tribes, the Umcumbre, feel that they were not being properly used or contributing to the designation of this area, and feel that this is still their traditional homelands and would like to see some way to bring them back into the area. Thank you very much for watching this video. Please feel free to make comments below as long as the language is family friendly. And if you like this video, please click on the thumbs up button below. You can also subscribe to my YouTube channel by clicking on the circle with my picture in it in the lower right-hand corner of the video. The arrow is pointing at it now. And once you have subscribed, you can be notified of when I have a new video posted by clicking on the bell icon in the description field below the video. Thanks again for watching.